Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch. Calling
it's
you
Nehemiah.
Yo, that's crazy.
The Nea Amaechi podcast.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
All right, I'm bugging. Let me get off this.
Isn't it crazy? Lo and behold, I spiraled out of control.
It was like crack cocaine.
It really was.
Yo, the powder became the real powder. You getting ran over by the kids at home, and because daddy's not there.
Exactly.
Like, no, I need to know. Like, you keep playing with your mother, she gonna knock you upside your head between that wash and dryer. Like, you got friend on lease, layaway, like with the option to buy. Like, you could
option to buy.
This could be your life.
We are friends from 9 to 5.
The problem we're having, Nia, is we don't believe you.
We
don't believe you.
We'll see once she get that alpha male she's looking for.
I'm telling you.
We don't believe you.
I'm so used to doing it by myself that I don't mind giving it to you.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Frii, with another episode of Free Lunch. I have my resident co-host here, Brother Q.
Oh, we out here. It's your boy Q. Thank you for having me. Me.
Now that we've had a chance to be more acquainted as neighbors, I figured I'd invite him to, kind of be on the show and visit a little more often. Like, turns out he's actually a pretty decent human.
I'm a pretty decent human.
And he's worth having on the show.
Hey, who's pretty decent?
Yeah. So,
man.
Thank you, Q, for being here with us today and welcoming Q and I as we welcome our guest. This is actually going to be our first guest together as a collab, Q and I. So as Q as my co-host today, we get to welcome our very special guest, Nea Amaechi. Give it up for Nea Amaechi.
Do the clapping thing.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I feel like I gotta add to that clap like whistles or like I gotta have like a separate button that's like extra clapping.
You might have to add
Super
a little
Bowl
bit of
type clap, like screaming in there, not too heavy on this, not like Michael Jackson.
But you know how we are, like when we clap and we celebrate, we
yes,
we yelling in the
we are.
Yeah.
So thank you, Nia. Thank you so
You are
much.
very welcome.
Thank you for being
having
here.
me. I really appreciate it.
So like I know a little bit of the awesomeness about you, and so every time it's your first time on the show, you have to enter it with the mind that the audience and the listeners, they might not know who the great awesome Nia is.
That's true.
So Nia, like introduce yourself. Tell the people a little bit about you. Now before you begin, all right, this is not like how that like really awkward anxiety feeling you have when you go into an interview and they're like, so Mr. Elliott, tell us about yourself. I'm like, I hate that open-ended question because it's filled with just, all right, this is like a potential like, employer. What do they want to know about me? This is not that, okay? This is, you're in control. You can have that answer be very short and sweet. You can have it be very lengthy because at the same time, a lot is nobody's business, Nia. Like, and you have to be like walking that boldness here on the show. This is free lunch, okay? Emphasis on free here, right? Like free to be whoever the heck you want to be right now, right?
I like that.
All right, so tell the people about yourself.
All right. First and foremost, my full name is Nea Amaechi, aka Nia for short. But for those who've known me from way back in the day, you know me as Nada.
Yeah. If you know her from around the way.
You already know.
Nada
in the building.
Some light ring on it, Nada.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
So I have a couple of names, but that's from, transition. I'm very passionate about women empowerment, seeing women successful, women in the workforce is something that's really big for me. Growing up with a single Nigerian mother, growing up with 7 siblings, and she had to take care of all of us on her own, and she had no direction in which way to go, and it was really difficult. So I really focus on, the head of household, the women who are actually bringing in the salaries, the incomes for these households that they have all of these children for, but they can't afford. So I like to try to find a way to help them identify ways to get sustainable income and create those phenomenal careers where they'll be lasting and structured forever. So that they can continue to build on that. So that's one of the things that I think is a huge passion of mine. Not only that, I'm a God's girl. I love the
Awesome.
Lord. That is
Amen.
my daddy.
Praise God.
I ain't
Amen.
grew up with a daddy, but I did.
Amen.
All
You're
right.
reading my mind with that one. You're reading my mind
All
with
right.
that one.
Let's give God
Yes.
some praise.
I like to say he don't like to play with this one right here.
All right.
So yeah, and so overall, I work in workforce development. I'm a regional trainer with individuals who go through the Department of Labor, and yeah, I wear many hats, but that's boring. So let's get started.
What you mean? Let's get started. We already started.
Woman empowered.
Hey, no, that's part of. We want to know all of it.
Yeah.
It's funny how some of the things that we about ourselves might think is like boring, the mundane, because it's us like
Right,
living
I
it, doing it
know.
every day. To other people, might be like really interesting. You know what I mean? So
That's a fact.
you gotta walk in that thing. Man. Don't be
Yeah.
shy. Give it to
I
us
know.
all.
But
We
you know what
enjoy
it is?
it. We
You know what
enjoy
it
it.
is? It's from experience. So when you've worked in like corporate settings for so long and they force you to go to these seminars and things,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
people read their bio and you're almost like, I don't want to hear this right now.
That's that is an actual fact.
Right. So I try to
Yes.
keep it, not to, I have a
Yeah,
bachelor's
yeah,
degree.
yeah,
I have, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
That's not the fun
it's
things about
superficial
you.
to me.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You know,
So-
I sent someone an email today, right? This morning. Like I had mentioned it to you, Q, earlier when we recorded another show. And I was requesting someone to come on the show. And in the beginning, like, this is the first time I had any communication with this person. So I had to like start the email
okay.
with briefly like, hi, my name is, at least, right? I don't want to just start off like, hey, I got a podcast. You want to come on? So I started like, with, hi, my name is, Christopher Elliott. I go by the real Frii. And when it got to that part about like what else should I say about myself, right? I was like, I'm a like serial creative, and there's some other things about me if you want to know. You could like click the link below. It's kind of boring stuff. And I put a link to like the bio
Yeah.
on my website. And I was
Right.
like, if they want,
They can read it.
they can go and at least they have that choice, that free choice to
Right.
go. Him being a serial creative and obviously has a podcast, that's not enough for me. let me see what else he's about. Like that might be what they want. So
I mean, serial creative itself is kind of like one of those words you don't hear. It's like serial creative? Like,
yeah, but I feel like that's the best term to describe me. You know what I mean? Like I can't call myself just an author or an actor or a poet or a rapper or a, like I don't just fit and exist in those boxes. It's all
No,
of it.
that's
Yeah, you're
true.
serial with it.
I'm serial with
Very
it. Exactly.
serial.
Yeah. So we had decided today's show it would be this really, really great idea to talk about gender roles in relationships, right? But before that, I know you and I had talked about that's the topic she's sweating about, guys.
I
Whoa.
am.
No, we're gonna let her
Be
breathe.
interesting.
We're gonna let her breathe a little bit
gosh.
on that one before we jump into that.
Get her comfortable. Let's make her comfortable.
Yeah.
No, but we're gonna. So first, because this period of my life where I've been stepping into like the full entrepreneurship thing, right? I've had to really take on this mindset that I grew up hearing, called keeping your head down and hands to the plow, right? And I realized over the years talking to different people that it meant different things for different people. But for myself, I always interpreted head down, hands to the plow. Well, in a couple ways. Sometimes my elders or mentors of mine along the way would reference that when they're trying to encourage me to be okay minding my business, or they're trying to encourage me by showing me how to not let what other people are doing be a distraction to what I am doing or what I should be doing, not letting other people's business or what their activity is be my focus. So then I've heard it in that context, right?
Understood.
You put your head down in hands to your plow
Right.
that's in front of you. And then I've heard it in the context of just in general being just very diligent about, whether it's the work of God or the vision or the calling, on your life that God has given you. So it's, not really connected to anyone else or about that, or you necessarily minding your business per se, but it's more about you just remaining focused. Is that a phrase you've grown up listening to or hearing?
I actually never heard that phrase until I started studying the book of Luke.
Okay.
So I didn't know what that was. And so when you mentioned it again, I was just like, I read that.
Yeah.
What was that? So I went back to it and was like, what?
Yeah,
What's going on here? But that was my understanding of it. So
which understanding?
The one in which just focus on your work, on God's work, your God's given work. Don't worry about what's going on the left or on the right. Just kind of stay focused. And if you don't stay focused, what can happen to you is kind of what happened to Lot's wife. You look back, and then when you go back to plow again, now your line is not straight. It's crooked now. And so now you have to figure out how to straighten that line up. And so it's a really deep scripture, because it makes a lot of sense. You know what?
When people come on the show and they try to not like they're trying to do this on purpose, but like they breeze over a bar,
Where's my book?
Talk to this man. I'm into the whole battle rap and rapping thing. So that's a bar, all right? You said people,
I have bars.
People look away and then their line gets crooked.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, because that's the thing. I never really thought of it that way, where it's in that phrase is two actions that you have to make sure you're doing.
Yeah.
Some people are going through life with their hands on the plow, but not their head down.
Right.
My hands on the plow, I might be doing something, I might be doing work, but my head is on a swivel, looking every which way, worrying about what
everybody's doing.
Yo,
when you do that, you start going off.
Crazy.
Yeah, you start veering off, and so then also too, social media plays a huge part in that as well in our
facts.
That's true.
Society, because you can have your head down. Your hands on the plow, but you can be looking around at what everybody else is doing and thinking that you're not doing enough, or get distracted by, okay, well, maybe I should be doing what they're doing then. And then that's how your line gets crooked. And now you've, lost the exact journey, the path that you were on. And as you can imagine how difficult it is to get that line straight again. You know what I mean?
That's so cool. with you, Q, how have you heard that phrase growing up?
I've come across it.
Yeah. When you hear it now, as you reflect on it, what does that mean to you? Does it kind of resonate with what we're sharing?
Absolutely. Maybe not the first one you said, in which mind your business.
Yeah.
That one, but in terms of just focusing and staying focused on where you are in life and kind of staying on your path.
Yeah.
Like she said, when you look back or when you start, getting distracted, that's when you start losing that focus and you start losing your own path.
Yeah.
And it's you change your trajectory by that much and you end up in the wrong place,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you know what? There's in math, I don't know if you guys recall, in geometry class when you were learning how to use the protractors and things and learn how to draw angles.
Yeah.
Right? If you can visualize in your head for a second.
I so can right now. It's so crazy.
If you could visualize what is called an acute angle, right? Is an angle less than 90 degrees, right?
Right.
Right? In the corner of that angle, it's just a small space. But if that line that you follow along the top of that angle is allowed to stay on its course that's off-centered, right? Look at how wide the gap can become at the end of that angle. So what seems like just a small deterring off the path at the beginning or in the corner, right?
Lead you
left to you how did I end up here in life? How did I get this far off? And it's those little...
It's that 1%.
Those little tweaks along the way.
1%.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Wild, right?
It is super wild. And it's you don't even notice it until you're so far apart and you're what happened? Let me use my weight, for example, real quick. So I'm super into my health and fitness right now. Like I work out like 5 days a week. Like it's a super. That's why I was just like, we could take the steps. I don't mind.
Yeah.
But there was a period of time where my kids, I had went grocery shopping and got the little those donuts with the powder on them.
Powder donuts.
The powder, but they're like the mini ones. And so I got it for them for their snack for school. Hadn't had them in a while and decided to try one. And lo and behold, I spiraled out of control.
It was like crack cocaine.
It really was.
Yo, the powder became the real powder.
It was to the point my daughter comes to my room and she's like, "Mommy, you ate all the donuts."
Bag.
So, and then also too, I wasn't like, I like to keep track of my weight. So I like to hop on the scale and just kind of see where I am. Not saying that it means anything, just kind of stay in that, on my straight and narrow,
Yeah.
So I wasn't, getting on the scale or anything because I just thought I was okay because I was still working out 5 days a week and I was still, doing my thing. And then eventually, I want to say like maybe 2 weeks later, I got on the scale and I gained 10 pounds. Didn't even realize that I had scaled so far away from where I was.
And the only change you made was a donut.
A donut. Can you believe that? A donut. So it's almost like I couldn't believe it. And this is the perfect example as how easy you can just be off track and be so far away from your goal. And it took me almost a month to get the 10 pounds off.
That is like crazy to me and even for people that don't know you, obviously, like I remember, like you have come a mighty long way, like
a long way.
And but that was like a turning point moment for the whole fitness.
Yeah, I was
like switch, like during like this has gotta
stop. I gotta,
because that's why they say it gotta be a lifestyle.
It is. It's an entire lifestyle.
It has to be a whole lifestyle.
An entire lifestyle. Yeah. It is, and it is for me. So,
But you know what, well, aside from it being a lifestyle, we talked about it on another episode about like people being like ready for therapy, like therapy being a good thing, but if you're not ready,
then it's not
going to work for you. It's the same with like fitness, like in the gym. Like it's a great thing. It's a great intervention, whatever like you plan to use it for, but you have to actually be ready.
Be ready.
And a lot of times I've heard people say things like, off and on from different times, like, "Oh my God, I'm like so sick of like this weight," or "Oh, I hate my body," or whatever. And I'm very direct and blunt with people, especially if I care about you.
Right.
I've said to people like that, like, actually, no, you're not. Like when you're actually sick of your body and sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then talking you into going to the gym and
true.
Like when you're really ready, it's still gonna be a journey. It's tough. Like going to the gym and working out and stuff. It's hard work.
It's still hard.
But you're ready.
To this day.
The mental space you're in, when you're ready, you're ready for the hard work.
Yes.
And that's what it is. That's what whether it's whether it's therapy, therapy is hard work. Yeah. Going into your trauma, your closet with skeletons, that's hard work.
It is.
But when you're ready, you're like, that's where courage comes in.
Yes. Yes.
Now, it's not that fear isn't still there. It's not like the hurdle isn't there. It just means I am now courageous enough to do what's got to be done.
Yeah.
I got to do this work.
Yeah.
So hats off to you, man.
Thank you. It's
round of applause, man.
It's difficult. It is, but it's like you said, it's a lifestyle change. It's something that I totally have changed my entire life for.
So your hand been to the plow. Head down for a minute.
So this really going hard started from the pandemic. So I haven't missed a day in the gym since 2021. 2020.
That's
so
you go to the gym 7 days a week?
5.
Oh,
5 days a week.
So you haven't missed a day of your schedule.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's a big deal.
Do you have like I hear people, these people that I watch on Instagram, these like fitness buffs, whatever. Q, shut up. Q's speaking in his brain. You can't hear him, but I could hear him.
You can hear him.
I could hear him. It's telepathy.
Speaking in my brain.
Yes. But like you see sometimes like people that you watch on Instagram and they're like fitness, buffs and like they're weightlifters, whatever. They talk about having a cheat day. Like, do you have a cheat day?
I don't.
You don't.
Mm-mm.
So it's like just You went all the way in. Like, you don't believe in like rewarding yourself with a little, like, whether it's something
Some cake.
dietary or whether it's something like, hey, I'm rewarding myself with like a day off from the gym. Like, you're sticking.
There's no such thing as a bad food.
There's no such thing as what?
There's no such thing as a bad food.
Okay. Not even the powdered donuts.
Nope.
That's why there's no such thing as a cheat day.
Right, exactly.
All I know, I need her as my personal trainer. I need trainers with open minds, Like, this is what if we talk about equity and inclusion, I need an inclusive thinking personal trainer that includes all food. All food is good.
All food is good.
Okay.
You have to keep in mind that it's in moderation. So
okay.
You can have everything that you want.
Yeah.
It's you telling yourself that something is bad that makes it bad. It's like, so say for example, okay, everybody knows, all right, I know McDonald's fries aren't that great. But if I decide I want to have McDonald's fries today, that's not bad.
Okay.
That's not a bad thing.
When does it become bad? Like when it's a medium fry or a large fry?
You can have your one large fry as long as you're not having that one large fry every day.
Can't be
3 times a week.
It just can't be just not 2 large fries.
Right. And then you also have to understand your limits as well.
Yeah.
So, so once you learn your body, like you'll know, for example, I know carbs is a huge thing for me. Go straight to my belly, so I know to kind of stay away from those things. It's not bad because I still have the bread and things like that. I just do it in moderation.
That's very true. Mm-hmm. That's very true. Because when you learn your body and understand the things that's going to make your face break out or make your stomach, or sometimes you lactose. Yeah. If you understand what you need to put in your body and what you can't put too much of in your body, you just create a good balance, a small balance. Mm-hmm. That's smart.
It's true.
No such thing as bad food. I think I'm gonna run with that one.
Yeah, because then you put
what's your fitness regimen like, Q?
What's my fitness regimen like?
Are you in the gym 5 days a week?
No, I ain't gonna make no excuses, but my gym.
Hold on. I ain't gonna make no excuses. But here's my first excuse.
Right? So I could go. So my job pays for my gym at the office. Oh, that's awesome. When I go into the office, I don't have to go every day. So when I go,
everyone listening is saying already, you have free gym and you don't take advantage. Let the excuses begin.
You know what? I have a free gym at my job too, but I just don't use it. It's something I just can't see myself. Like, I can't work out at work and then be ready.
Yeah, they got showers and everything. So like, I take a shower before work. Yeah.
So do you to help you kind of like stick to this, kind of hand to the plow thing? Like, do you have I guess you could say, like an accountability partner, or a gym mate, like someone that goes with you. I do
have
check-in person.
My bestie, I call us Nea Amaechi, like in the Bible.
Okay,
only because my name is Nea, her name is Maya.
I love it. I love it.
She hates it.
Cute.
Really? So and it works.
I told her we're going to start our podcast.
These are cute Bible jokes. Everyone,
Nea
Maya, get it?
Everyone has suddenly put their podcast in the background of their phone while they're Googling Nehemiah.
Listen,
I love it.
And this is really great too, because we may be coming in here because we've been talking about that's going to be the name of our podcast.
Yo, that would be fire.
That would actually be really good.
Thank you. You see, I've been telling her.
You got to let me do the cover art for her.
You have to.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to call her after this. Okay. All right. So where were we?
So Nehemiah, she's your accountability.
Yeah. So she's
a gym partner?
She is my gym partner. Okay. We started this journey together and we're still doing this. So even though there are some days we don't work out together, she'll call and say, are you going to A's? So we do have a personal trainer. His name is Action Fitness.
Oh, for both of you?
Yes, for both of us.
Awesome.
Action Fitness.
He has and it's called Action Fitness.
Whoa, easy. He hasn't paid for any sponsorship. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, my bad. Well, only because he has gotten me my badge,
All sponsorships must be paid for. Yeah.
Like, no name dropping.
It's kind of like the movie, like, they blur out the Nike symbol. Nike's not paying.
We're going to listen back to this. Yeah, he's action, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like bleeped out like a swear word. No.
Well, he's really great for community because his prices, if you are a personal trainer, as you know.
We got to have him on the show.
Very expensive. I think we should, yeah.
Yeah, tell him about us, man.
I will, definitely will. So,
So you both share the personal trainer.
So we both share
So you actually have him as accountability piece.
He is my accountability piece, but I know that I don't want to hear his junk talking if I don't show up.
Oh, now you got to hear that.
Right, so I show up, yeah. It's to the point where he kind of tired of me showing up, I think.
So
you hear every day.
Okay, so what happens? So what happens? What kind of tongue lashing happens from Mia or Maya when you?
Oh my goodness!
When she doesn't hear from you, or you're not going to the gym, does she?
You're a slacker. I thought you had goals.
Oh dang! She hit you with the thought you had goals.
Right. Then I got to be like, I'm working out at 3:30 today. What are you talking about?
That hurt my heart.
Wow.
Yeah, that's painful to hear.
Yeah, I thought you had goals. You're literally
this came out my whole life. Now I feel like I'm a failure.
She comes out guns blazing.
Yo, okay? I thought you had goals. You know
I do it to her too, though.
I'm now like reconsidering you as a friend altogether. I thought we were friends.
That's a little.
No, but you know what? We can be working out together, and I could see that she's not putting her all into it, and I'll start messing with her. Like,
you gotta do
lift
that.
those legs up, and she'll get mad.
That's what you got.
You got to.
But yeah, like it's a competition thing. Like, come on, man, you know you could do better than that. And then she gets the.
But you know what? But that's the beautiful thing about. I think like relationships is that there can be a duality there.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and relationships offer a plethora of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they offer accountability. They offer encouragement. You know, they offer so many of these things, and kind of hinging on this, our first statement that we pull from Bible verses like head down, hands to the plow. Right. You know, I think the Bible talks about, relationships a lot. It also talks about this idea of like fellowship.
Yeah.
You know? So like, when you think of the relationship that you have with Maya, the relationship you have with your personal trainer, like if I really start to think of how much of a difference, if any difference, right? Am I supposed to like view the relationships or the relationships in my life, and to what level should they rise, again, if at all, rise to fellowship, or to what degree should they fall to fellowship? Like which one is more intimate of a thing, or are they the same? Like, so, for me, I think I get conflicted. I really feel like at the end of the day, I find myself falling on the side of relationship and fellowship really just being the same thing. I don't know, but I think I could be swayed either way. Like if given a decent articulatable argument for one meaning something different. When you think of those two, is one different than the other?
I don't think I think there's a slight difference between fellowship and relationship. The only reason why I say that, and this is my opinion.
Yeah.
We're listening.
Is because relationships are more so something that you continuously work on or work towards. Whereas fellowship, you've already established a connection. So you already have something in common.
When I hear the word fellowship, I don't think it hits me as intimate of an idea or connotation. I feel when I hear the word relation. I feel like okay, perfect example, right? Because we hear this word fellowship in like religious or church content a lot. For those of you who go to church or attend church who are listening, I feel like I can go and fellowship with anybody, with a bunch of people. I don't have to actually know that person. I don't have to know your family. I don't need to know what you do. Like, I can fellowship with a group of guys.
Because you have something in common.
Yeah. But then when I think of the word relationship, to me that says, okay, I've taken fellowship maybe to a deeper degree or level.
Yeah.
But again, as I said at the beginning, my opinion is I feel like they're the same, because then my brain goes, well, no, not really, because then there's levels to relationships. Like I have a relationship, like you said you have a relationship with your personal trainer.
Yeah.
But every time you and Maya go to the gym with the personal trainer, I could say the three of you fellowship.
Yes, we do, because we have something in common.
But doesn't like relationships come from fellowship? It's like fellowshipping leads to a relationship, kind of.
I would give you that.
Because it's like when you go to fellowship, you don't want to just have like mindless conversation, you know, where you're not talking about
something.
You're really trying to like build something.
Like right now, we're having fellowship.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But we don't have a relationship.
Right.
Yet. You see what I'm saying?
Correct. So
but she cool, you know.
Yeah, but
so you think it's a difference? Yes. There's a difference.
I think there's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there is a
because at the beginning you were on the line about if there's a difference.
Slight. Okay. It's very slight because when you fellowship, you build relationships. So it's almost like it is very similar, but there is a slight difference to me, in my opinion, because I feel like you don't have to have a relationship with someone to fellowship with them. Like, for example, you can go to visit your friend's church, but you know no one there, but you're all fellowshipping together.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then after that, now you've built a relationship because now you're going to introduce yourself and talk to these individuals.
Yeah.
Far away from my mic, sorry. And so on. So that's why I say it's a slight difference, but they're similar too. Because I feel like they kind of intertwine into each other.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if one includes the other.
Right.
That's like how you'd like to believe is the case when it comes to intimate relationships with your girlfriend, boyfriend, or your husband, wife, with your spouse. You'd like to think everybody you love, you also like.
Right.
You would think one is included with the other. But I think we find a lot of times you have couples that they might say they love each other, but y'all don't like each other.
They don't like each other at all.
Y'all don't like each other. So to me, I go, if there's a difference, then the difference must be great. But yeah, so I think if there is a difference, I think it's a big difference. There's a big difference between relationship and fellowship. Even though one leads to the other.
Yeah.
If you only have one and only have another with another group of people, right? You can see a very clear difference.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so even though you're saying this fellowship we're having in this room or you're having with Q, if people were to then see your relationship with Maya, they'll see a clear difference.
Right.
It won't be it's just a small difference. No, it'll be a very...
You're right. You are right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
so one
absolutely.
definitely leads to the other.
You're right.
I think.
Yeah.
So do we all have a consensus?
Yeah, I agree. I
think we all agree here. I hope.
Yes.
I don't know. There's something about Q's eye, right? Like he's kind of got a...
What do you think, Q? What do you think about
like he's kind of like deliberating further behind that.
I'm always thinking.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna, for the sake of brevity, I'll let it go now. But
nah, I agree with you. It makes sense because I was thinking for a moment that like fellowship was a form of relationships, but it depends on how you define the two. So it depends on how you define a relationship, depends on how you define fellowship. But a relationship is a little bit more, it's a relationship. It's established, it's there.
Right.
Whereas fellowship is like we're just talking, we're trying to get to know each other.
We breaking bread. We breaking bread.
Exactly. It's like I don't call my friends at work my friends. They're like my work friends.
You're another associate.
We fellowship about the same thing.
You're the associate that can one day become, you know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like, like you got friend on lease, layaway, like with the option to buy. Like you could,
option to buy.
This could be your life.
We are friends from 9 to 5.
The photos you see on my Instagram with selfies with my man, that could be you one day. You could make it on my timeline.
That could be you.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
I think it takes a lot to kind of end up on my timeline. I will say that. You know what? Now that I reflect, I would even say out of my closest friends, I think they make very rare debuts on my timeline.
You know what?
Like,
I'm such a huge...
I might have to get better at that.
I'm a huge friend supporter. Like, so I like to post my friends. Like, you'll see more of my friends online than me.
Well, I know. I mean, like I post them or like reshare like their posts.
Yeah, you.
I'm talking about selfies.
Oh,
like see themselves with me on my timeline.
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
I don't do that.
Yeah,
I do it every once in a while. Maybe a birthday.
That's
post.
what I mean.
Yeah,
like it's
but that's about it.
It's definitely few and far in between.
Yeah, my Instagram is all me.
I think the ladies tend to do that a lot more. My wife
it's more
definitely.
Of a lady thing, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, the more male things, more lady things.
Yes.
Right. And speaking of relationships, okay, what do you
break it down real quick?
What do you feel about this idea about like gender roles in relationships? Because I have one of my followers on the page. when I'm collecting topics to discuss for the show, some of our listeners wanted to, have us talk about this on the podcast.
Okay.
And I thought be a great, suitable, fit.
Wonderful.
I like to have
I'm not married or anything. I don't know why.
Okay.
Oh God.
I'm not married or anything.
Hold on. Pause. You would have thought she just said, I don't have COVID. All right. like being married would have been a horrible.
I ain't married. No.
Just so you know. Hold on.
No marriage.
I don't have it.
But you're not diabolically opposed against marriage, right?
No, absolutely.
Okay,
not.
all right.
No.
So why would you all
I'm just, I'm a very different
defensive.
female. I'm just...
Which is why I love to have you on the show. I want to have the, variety of opinions.
Okay.
We welcome opinions here, right?
Okay.
And all, just everybody being nice and respectful of each other, okay?
Always respectful.
All right.
Always.
I promise Q's not going to throw juice in your face or anything, all right?
Yeah, he can't make a promise for me, but I promise.
All right.
Okay, all right, okay.
So
it's getting hot now again.
So someone asked, gender roles in relationships, are they important, was their question.
It is very important.
That was their question. Gender, I think because it was kind of like them just bullet point listing topics, I think if I developed the question more, in a more accurate way, or not accurate, that's not the word, and it just in a more digestible manner, so we could know kind of what angle to approach this. Let's come at it from, is it important in relationships to discuss or establish gender roles? What the gender roles will exist in your individual particular relationship?
That's an interesting question.
So I would just blankly say, in general sense, that's an important discussion.
Really?
You have to these days.
Really?
To talk.
You have
to have the discussion. I think now whether you decide to fall into a social norm of a particular gender role, that's a whole separate thing.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think it's as a discussion?
Yeah, why do you think we have to?
Well, because you're entering a relationship with another person who has an entirely different upbringing than you.
True.
Their own mindset. They're coming to the relationship. If you're trying to have relationship, this thing that we already just talked about is different from fellowship. This is a more intimate thing, right?
Right.
You gotta just have the conversation. That's it. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything harmful or to be lost.
I guess.
Or detrimental. Why would you clearly, Nea does not feel a need to even have the discussion. Don't even bring the discussion to me, okay? Watch your mouth.
It's not.
Why is it not a discussion?
It's not that I'm saying it's not a discussion.
Okay, so now I want to hear you say out of your mouth, it's a discussion.
No, it's the lack
okay.
of...
So then you're saying it's not a discussion. Don't try to play word semantics.
No, listen, Frii. Listen, this is all I'm saying, right?
All right.
I didn't know. This is where my skepticism is coming from.
Okay, all right.
I didn't know you should have a discussion with someone about gender roles because I automatically assumed they should know.
They should know what?
Their gender role.
Oh, all right. Okay. Oh, but that's no. No, that's fair though.
No?
Yeah,
I mean, fair.
That is fair, but
that's fair.
I guess
think it's a different world out here these days.
Well,
okay.
Here's my thing. Because before we went on air, you made the comment that you are alpha female.
I'm an alpha female for sure.
Which is totally fine. I think at least both my ex-wife and my present wife, I would call them alpha females. Yeah. So I don't see any issue with that. Because of that, I think I'll just at least talk from just my experience, right? That's always like the safest, right? Because nobody can deny you your own experience, okay? You can say whatever the heck you want to say. This is my life. I live it. My wife, being a alpha female,
she is too, for real.
She can. We had the discussion early on, like when we were in a dating period, right? And when I met her and we were dating, she was a single mom.
Yeah.
In her own apartment,
doing her thing,
running it.
Exactly.
And here she is.
She ain't gonna let nobody come.
Here she is. Listen.
Nope.
Here she is finding me, post divorce, living with my kids in my mama's basement. Okay. So like,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Just envision like, okay, you got these two plan to come together and have a relationship. This man ain't even had his own place before. Like, seriously, like when I moved,
potential is big for us.
Listen, once I left as a teenager, left my mom's house when I was 19, when I had my first kid with my ex-wife, we I'm sorry. That's the wife texting me now. I'm sorry.
Okay, we spoke her up. Look at that. Look at the queen. Mm-hmm. Yes, queen.
You talking about me?
I told, so at 19, when I moved out with my ex-wife, when we had our first kid, that was my first apartment ever, was with someone. Yeah. And I was the next, 10 or so years that we were together, we moved from place to place together. So I never experienced having my own place, right? But now, fast forward, I, meet this, beautiful young lady, my present wife, and, we're dating, and she's got her own place. Not only been running her own place, running the show, paying all her bills, going to school. She got, her degree, working on her second degree, raising her kids.
You're right.
She got this.
Power
woman, alpha female. Mm-hmm. But we had the discussion because I knew from my upbringing, being raised by great grandparents, very old-fashioned, traditional, Christian values, like a man should be, the provider for his home, work, the man is the head, all these things, right? So seeing a woman that was so capable, like my wife, from afar, it could be intimidating.
I was going to ask.
Right? Mm-hmm. That could be totally a thing. And because it can be intimidating, I think it only becomes intimidating to the point where it's crippling for a man if he dares not to be bold, brave enough, or courageous enough, transparent enough to just have the conversation. To say, hey, here's the mind in which I'm entering this relationship. What do you think? How do you feel? Because now that we've had a discussion, you can be your confident, brave, bold self too, alpha female, and go, well, you know what? I've been running the show and doing it this way for this long, and this has been working for me. And if you think you're gonna come in here and marry me, ring or not, I don't care if you marry me, right, and commit to me. I'm not willing to let you be the head. Which is why the conversation has to happen. It's because there's a large growing group of alpha females who are like, no.
A large growing group.
Like I don't care. I don't care who you are and what you bring to. I've been doing it this way, and I've been handling it very fine. For it to be passed or given to this man, I think I can only guess. So that's my footnote. It's a guess of mine. I could be wrong. I think for ladies like that, or there are ladies that then think they're losing something. They're losing some value maybe. Because I've did it so well, I've done it this way on my own. For me to now pass that responsibility or torch to you is somehow degrading to me. It's me doing this or you doing this, right? If you're the man in the situation, you taking the lead says something less about me, who I am. I think that's what happens in the mind.
It's different for me.
Okay, how's it different?
Yeah, let's listen. I want to hear this.
This is one of our
it's different for me. That's
few alpha females remaining.
I told you guys I'm a very different type of female. Like I said to you guys in the very beginning, I grew up with 7 siblings and a single mom. So I grew up. My mother
you grew up with an alpha
female. So that's all I knew. So she would pass the baton to me when she wasn't around. So I would take her place to take care of my siblings as well. And so what I found, the reason why I say it's a little different for me is because I've been an alpha female since I was a little girl because of the way my mom raised me as a strong, culturally Nigerian.
Yeah.
And that's different as it is on its own period to even understand.
Facts.
But for me as an alpha female, I wouldn't pass over the baton to someone I knew I couldn't trust, but I do want to. So I would want to be in that kind of a situation. Yes. I would love to have those type of conversations with an individual, but those situations have never arose.
Okay.
And so therefore,
I can respect that.
Right. So therefore, I find myself sitting in a area and space of, oh yeah, I'm alpha female. I get things done. Yes. I have no needs. I have everything I need. All I need is for someone, an alpha male or a male, to actually say, oh, I got the same thing too. I got this. And for me to for him to understand who I am as an alpha female, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I can't be submissive. The only way I can see myself bringing myself to allow the man to be the head of the household is if I trust that he could do so. But I don't have a problem with giving that away. Yes. I don't feel like I need to hold on to it.
Okay.
I don't feel like I need to.
I can really respect that, Q.
So are we saying that these alpha females out here actually want someone to take over that alpha role?
No, they do.
Well, Q, what's been your experience? Why do you think that that's not the case?
It makes sense.
What she's saying makes sense. But clearly you've been either hearing or observing something different with other alpha females. What are you getting, or is it just all in your mind making assumptions from what you're seeing from a distance?
I think it's both.
I think we do that.
I think it's both. From a distance, I get the idea that, like, alpha females don't want another man to come in their life and do things for them. They want to do it themselves because they don't want to either trust anybody else to do it because they don't trust men to be able to do that.
They've been disappointed so
right,
long.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or they are so used to doing things themselves that they only trust themselves to do it. They just want to do it themselves. Like, continually, it's like if a man was like, us being alpha, we have to be providers, and we're used to doing it for such a long period of time. To not do it would we would lose a sense of ourselves.
But
I'm like,
that alpha female who's been doing it herself feels the same vulnerability. If I've been doing it for so long, it's gonna feel weird,
right,
to not suddenly do it, even with the right guy that comes along, right?
Not for me. It's almost
well. You can only speculate and say that because it hasn't happened yet.
It's true.
So you would like to think I'm going to be poised. I'm going to be ready for when this arrives. It's going to be like a light switch.
It is.
You would
feel so.
You would think until there's that one decision that needs to be made, and you're like totally set against it, and he's like totally for it, and he's like, I'm the alpha male, XYZ. This is going to get done.
And I'll say, okay, get it done.
So here, but you know what?
I respect
because that actually happens a lot. This kind of potential to clash with my alpha female at home. So brace yourself, honey, if you're listening to this. All right. But see, we pride ourselves as a couple of being very transparent with our relationship. So I know she doesn't mind. But I kind of like, because I was raised by a ton of women. I pull on kind of like the female part of my brain when I'm trying to mastermind or outthink my wife or be like a step ahead of her. Right? So because I know in life, in this relationship, it's a fact. Doing life with this alpha female, I know we're going to arrive at a crossroad one day where me as the head of our home have one mind, one, decision, we're going to go this way. And she's going to be like, but no, I think we should do this, right? Because I know that's inevitable. I plan like playing chess. Right, I've said before, a relationship is chess, not checkers.
Like, it is. No, it
is. I am navigating this chessboard. The only difference in this application or context of the chess game is I'm not playing against my wife. I am playing with her, you, and I have to be several steps ahead of what are the potential bear traps or snares we get ourselves in when it comes to these relationships with two alpha individuals. So how I'm kind of playing chess along the way is my brain says, well, you know what? With all the 70, 80, 90% of the things, situations, matters that need to be discussed, planned, decided upon, I give them freely to her to have the final word. And I do it often. So that when that one occasional time comes where as the head of my home, I have to make that very strong decision opposed against whatever she's saying, I can feel both confident in taking that stance without feeling guilty and bad about it. And she can now better bend and lend and submit to me because she's reflected and know that this is not a power or tool I willed against her or beat her over the head with, often to overuse that power or authority. She has willingly given to me as my wife. Like she is willingly submitting and surrendering. That somebody said something really interesting. I forgot where I heard this now because I love accrediting people with their gems. I but this is totally not my own. So if you hear this, whoever you are, totally be like, hey, in the comments, be like, that was me. Someone said, I heard a female speaker say, that it was Tiffany Walker. She has an excellent podcast with her husband Pop called Black and Married. Check it out. Definitely. Tiffany says, you only have submission when, as a female, you know you have power. Because you don't have submission without power.
No, I believe
that is what submission is.
It is.
I am surrendering my power. So there has to be an acknowledgement of that person's power. So women out there who are in that relationship where they're surrendering or submitting to that man, I hope, hears this and understands that woman has power. And she is simply willing to give it and surrender it to you in that way.
Exactly what I was explaining to you there. Yeah. And so I think a lot of times that also my culture also has a role to play in that too, because in my culture there is no woman head of household. It's your husband. And they're totally submissive, but they're extremely powerful.
Extremely powerful.
You ever seen these African women?
Yeah, I've seen them.
So they're extremely powerful. They probably, and most times their husband is like this big. They know they probably can knock them out.
But listen, but to that point, right? To that point of seeing the this kind of paradigm of submission does not mean
weakness,
lack of power or weakness, right? Because we could look to nature. I love using the Lion Kingdom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Them pack of females are out there putting in that power, getting that work.
Absolutely.
But they submit
to that
to the king when he comes. To this male. Hey, that male lion is not out there running, chasing gazelle and packs and collaborating, communicating with other, animals to, get this kill and get this food. Those lioness are extremely powerful.
Absolutely.
I would dare to suggest that just like those pack of lionesses gather together and take down a deer or gazelle, if they chose to, they could equally pack up and take down that male king.
Of course.
We already know that.
But they submit to that hierarchy, to that order of things. And that is just so beautiful to me.
It is a beautiful
because
thing.
I think there are many women out there that think of this idea of submission as weakness, like you said, weakness,
no, it's not.
Powerlessness, oh my God.
That's going to stick with me forever. That's a bar.
Yeah, that's a bar.
In the words of Chris, that's a bar.
What part?
In order to submit, you have to have power.
Like that's crazy.
I never thought about it like that. It's just
because then what are you submitting
to?
Yeah,
right.
You're submitting something. You're surrendering something.
And you're not going to surrender something if you're not going to, And so that's why being an alpha female, a lot of men say, "Oh, she's an alpha female," but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean? An alpha female is very willing to submit. Now, I don't know if
that's all alpha females.
Well, okay, I'm talking. Let me talk from my experience.
Yes. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Because you can't be speaking for all alpha females.
I'm sorry.
No,
well, for this alpha female, that's why I was so sure earlier about when I said to you that if I do know, the alpha male that comes in, I will know.
Yes.
And so I would easily submit and give him, his head of household. You know what I mean? Because that's what he deserves.
Yes.
But once again, you'll know that person when they come.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from another one of y'all alpha females out there.
I'm a different one.
All right. No, but that's not how I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it to the blessing of the rest of these alpha females out here that's scared.
Don't be scared. It's okay.
I think they all need to listen to this pod one time.
Yeah, for real, right?
I'm electing Nea as alpha female chairperson representative.
Let's go. You don't have to be afraid.
Yo, don't be afraid. Yeah, how much of a part like fear do you think plays a role in that? Like
a lot, because you're afraid that you're gonna lose everything if you
especially if you have like children.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's a huge fear.
That's was like a big thing that came out in early on in our marriage is my wife having being a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
Her son means the world to her,
right?
Yeah. And like so now it's this whole idea of like kind of giving this access, not just of her, like I think I think that's the easier part for us to like wrap our head around, right? Is like giving yourself to another person in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's when it's like, okay, giving myself is one thing, but
giving my offspring,
can I trust this person with my child?
You know what I'm saying?
Like they didn't have this child. This is not their child. This is like, are they gonna, treat my child any different? Are they gonna treat them with love, with care, concern, all that stuff? And we really had to spend a lot of footwork and time and just having those talks. That relieved a lot of the fear and anxiety. It's just getting it out and having, feeling like safe to be able to like get it out and not feel like somebody's gonna instantly jump on you or, make you have to be like, oh, why are you so defensive? Or, girl, ain't nobody mistreating your child. Or, like, no, but these are just valid.
It's valid
concerns, emotions.
It is.
That should be okay to discuss.
And I agree 100%.
That word again.
Yeah.
That safe word again.
Yeah, we talked about it in our last episode. You gotta feel safe. You gotta feel safe.
You gotta be safe all around.
Yeah.
Women, men, everybody has
to feel safe. I think that's a big deal.
It's very
big. What are you if you could give other alpha females something in the way of practicality to either constantly keep at like the front of their thoughts, or an activity, something to do, so that they can be on the ready for when that alpha male comes along, if they want this. There's some alpha females, they're fine being by themselves and do it to the day they die, and they don't want that.
That is true.
Okay,
right.
But for those who they know they want that, but I also recognize that I am an alpha female, and they might not be at the place where you are, where they could say confidently, I know I'm ready.
And that didn't happen overnight, ladies.
So that's what I was getting to. What could they be doing to get on the ready where you arrive today?
Devotional daily.
Devotional
daily.
Pointing y'all to the devotion. Y'all better listen up.
It's very important.
Just around, turn her mic up real fast.
Yeah, turn it up, because it's actually something that is very sacred. I like to use that word. I do devotional every morning before anything, before I even look at my phone, before I look at text messages, social media, just to ground my mind, because society has a lot of has a way of kind of dropping seeds in us without us knowing. And so not saying they're bad seeds or good seeds, but they're,
that's a bar right there. Society be dropping seeds in your mind without you even knowing.
Without you even knowing. And so you have to be intentional about that. You know what I mean? Especially, that's why it's so important to, read scripture. You can not only, if you're not sure what to read, just kind of focus on women's scripture, because it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so
edifying.
Yes, edifying.
Like free lunch.
It is just like free lunch. It's very edifying, and it kind of keeps you understanding, where you are, and then also to create your own social norms. Don't go with what you consider to be everyone's social norm, because we're all different. You know what I mean?
Create your own social norm. Are you trying to fast forward to the end of our show? Like
no. These are things that help me.
We usually save like the one-liner punchlines for the end. Like,
no, absolutely.
Like, I'm gonna give y'all this work ASAP. All right.
it's really important.
Y'all getting this work today from Nia. Y'all hear me? You are getting this work today, ladies and gentlemen.
She's dropping them too. Like she's dropping them too.
Yeah.
I'm just giving.
Create your own social norm. Yo, that's fire.
You have to. Because if you don't, you're going to think that the social norms that society has created for you are the social norms when they're not.
That devotional is key too, man. Because she was right. Between Instagram, social media, and other people and like your interactions, you're unintentionally feeding yourself a lot of stuff throughout the day. You need to ground yourself in scripture.
Yeah, you have to.
That's fire, man.
It's and I know a lot of people don't really think about it like that, but you have to create. I mean, some people meditate, some people, go to the gym, but you also have to read your scripture. It's like one of those things, you know what I mean? I'm not a big King James girl. Because I can't understand it. So I read my New Living Translation, Sorry. Sorry, please.
First off,
oh, I'm sorry. I'm not as
there's no finger pointing in the studio.
I'm not as articulate as you. Sorry. I'm not as articulate as you.
That's his language, man.
It's okay.
But I have to read it to my understanding.
Yeah,
so I can understand,
No, however you can get it, man. That's powerful that you're even operating on that degree of awareness, and it's working for you, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I always have offer as a rebuttal for anybody who obviously I have people from all backgrounds that listen to the podcast. And people who listen to the podcast and they think the Bible is a lie. Like they why bother, right? My thing is always, my rebuttal is hey, if you can't deny someone's evidence in their life,
right?
So this is working for you.
It's been working for me.
This is working for you. And that's what I at least try to provide.
It helps me to remain grounded.
Yes.
If I may.
I really like we talked about safe spaces, right? I really hope or want for the podcast or any people that come into the studio to feel that this is a safe space.
Feels like it.
Somebody might come in here and be like, hey, no, you need to make sure you pray to Buddha 5 times a day or whatever. And that's how you're going to make sure if that's working for them, I want them to feel safe enough to say,
agree.
Share their truth and what it is. And then people who might echo, similar, beliefs that I have, obviously I want you to feel just as safe and comfortable in doing that. So
I just meet people where they are, meeting people where they are.
Kudos to you, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to give you an extra.
Oh, thank you.
You gotta give her another one, man.
Thank you.
That's why I have to get another button. I got a chant button. That's what I need. I don't know how
you gonna have it say.
I don't know how I'll pull it off, but yeah. Spartans, what is your profession? Maybe something like that. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Well, this would be the time where I would seek to wrap up the show with what's the takeaway you want our audience to go away with. But I feel like you were just dropping them left and right.
Definitely it.
That's crazy
Start
to
from
me.
there.
That's the takeaway for me. Is the social norm piece. Create your own
social norm
in your relationship.
Yep.
What somebody else's relationship might be or look like, what's normal for them, that's not gotta be what's normal for you.
It's not.
Man.
It does not. It's
gotta be an individual.
You have to be an individual.
What about you, Q? What's the takeaway for you?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
He was pretty
honestly,
quiet.
I was kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Huh?
Or even what's one thing that you want to share with the people just that's new that you want them to remember, taken away from the show? What's toiling in that brain of yours?
Let's see.
He's always thinking.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Mind, that's the problem. Is I'm always thinking that I don't talk enough.
I know. That's why I can see your reels going.
All that's coming to an end now.
Take it in. I take it in.
With the God is Dope t-shirt.
I know. I saw that. I love it.
I almost gave you a hand clap for that, but I'm like, I don't want to overuse the clap.
Come on. That's a big one.
All right, I'll give her.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
Pipe down.
I need
rowdy crowd tonight. Calm down.
If I had to take one thing.
Yeah. Because by the way, ladies and gentlemen, because Q's a single guy. He's kind of, he's still. He's still trying to make sure he's, centering himself and getting, positioned. So he's poised in the right position for when maybe it's a alpha female or any, other female comes along.
Takes a step into my life.
Hey, you know what just occurred to me? What if you had a preference, Q, do you think You prefer a alpha female?
Well, it'll tie into the thing that I'm going to keep for this.
Okay. Okay. Let me hear.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love an alpha female. For the simple fact that I had. At first, it's hard. It's like a power struggle in a way. So, like, as a alpha male, I try to, like, I don't want to say try, but I subconsciously assert my dominance.
Okay.
Or,
you simply exist as yourself, as an alpha male.
Be the traditional alpha male, But then the thing that you said, in which
playing chess.
Yes, we got to actually play chess, but the power structure is when you gave her all of the power, but if you're feeling strongly about something, it's like So it's like trusting her to
and I feel like you can more trust someone with that or the majority of those decisions or things if they're probably an alpha female.
Exactly.
Because I know you're capable of running this on your own. You simply allow me to, and I simply just I kind of I delegate the majority of the decisions back down to you.
I would let you do it. Like do it. And if you need my help, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, like, I would totally let him do it.
The problem we're having, Nea, is we don't believe you.
We don't believe
you.
We'll see when she get that alpha male she's looking for.
I'm telling you.
We don't believe you.
I'm so used to doing it by myself that I don't mind giving it to you. Like,
then there's that. That's true.
There's a few, you want to do that?
There are a few alpha females I've come across where they're exhausted doing it.
Yeah.
And so they're poised and ready for that reason. Because it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And they're like, hey, just because I'm capable of doing this don't mean I'm built for this or want to do this. Like, by design, God has not made me to do this and being in this role. I should, have this help me. I should have
the partnership
this,
to make balance.
I shouldn't be raising children by myself.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, our society, we have people who are raising children by themselves and they are stuck in that position.
My kids really think I'm Superwoman for
and
real.
And they shouldn't
really
be.
Think I'm
because you be out here doing it.
Yeah, they like really think I'm a celebrity and all these things. I'd be like, guys, no.
You putting that work in.
More power to you. I salute women that like handle all their business by themselves.
Yeah. So I cut you off. What's the takeaway for you, Q? Like, so I made you answer like if you prefer alpha female, but past that, what's the takeaway you're gonna run with this show? Or give to the people that you want them to remember.
Alpha women are amazing.
Alpha women are amazing.
I agree.
I'm going to keep it at that.
Personally, I think that was a cop out. That was
it was a little bit.
That
of
was
a
him
cop
being
out.
safe.
It was a little bit of a cop out.
He didn't want to.
A little bit.
He didn't want to ruffle the feathers of all the alpha females tuning in on the podcast.
But they really are though. Like, alpha women are amazing just because. Just so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Another question just popped into my mind. Were you raised by an alpha female? Did you have an alpha female?
Oh.
Yes. And I think that's probably why. I would prefer an alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my mom gets things done.
Yeah.
She don't play any games. She makes sure she gets it done.
Big deal.
Don't play.
And of course, we as men, we want submissive women, but at the same time.
You want a capable woman.
Yeah. That's what I want to build
because when you're gone and you're away, I don't want to have to be worrying about, you getting ran over by the kids at home and because daddy's not there.
Exactly.
Like, no, I need to know, like, you keep playing with your mother. She's going to knock you upside your head between that washer and dryer.
Listen.
Yeah. No, seriously. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nia, we've loved
I loved this.
Our time together.
Please have me again.
We're looking very forward to this podcast episode in particular is probably like 4 episodes out. Like we like pre-record a lot of them. Like I've had like 4 other people in the studio.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, ahead of you. So get in line.
All right.
But I would love, I know it would be pretty quick, but not necessarily. I'd probably get to you with 4 episodes out. You definitely end up in season 3. We're season 2 right now.
Okay.
And season 3 starts in March. That's why.
Oh, cool.
So
Women's Month.
You know what I would love? I would love in sometime in March when this episode drops. I I would love to put in the description of this episode the link to your podcast.
Okay. All right.
To your podcast.
You would do this to me, right?
I would. You know I would.
It's gonna be fire.
Calling you forth.
It's gonna be fire.
Nehemiah.
Calling you
Nehemiah.
Yo, that's crazy.
The Nehemiah podcast.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
All right, I'm bugging. Let me get off.
Isn't it crazy though?
Thank y'all for tuning in, man.
Thank y'all.
It's your boy
this is
Freestyle
amazing.
Gospel, aka The Real Free. It's free lunch, free food for your soul, y'all. Peace.